April featured one of the nation's favourite sporting events, the Grand National, an event that does for horses what a horse-killing machine also does for horses. But never mind what I think about it, what might a drunker, more American cynic make of the Grand National? Someone like scrofulous drinkist Doug Stanhope.
I'm Doug Stanhope, and that's why I drink.
The Grand National is the sickest, most perverted thing where they take as many horses as will fit on the track and they cram them all into this line and then they go, how many horses will this track hold? We'll add 5 more. Fuck them. And they fire them off, and it's not just enough to run around in a circle. They gotta put obstacles. You put up fences and barriers and embankments with a moat. It's like Gallipoli. It's like World War I, where they're expecting a Turkish gunner on the other side, mowing them down. And these horses collide in this giant demolition derby equine massacre, and they do triple Lindy forward somersaults with jockeys flying off in the air, and they die. They die on the track, and no one gives a shit. And then the horses have to go around again and see their dead friend that they're trying to set up a big concession stand around so they can kill it right on the track. They don't even pause the race. Just kill them right there. Put up a little curtain like Angela's changing her nightie. And all the announcers sound like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spawn. Everyone talks like this.
As they go over the chair, and the leader jumped it well and always right as a faller at the chair.
Well, we've lost another one. Oh, that one fell. Oh, that one stepped out. That one's gonna go smoke a fag, I believe. No, he's dying! He's mutilated!
Human interest and ITV's deceptively racy agenda-setting behemoth this morning meets a man weighed down with a heavy burden.
Well, come in just a moment, we'll meet Jonah Falcon, the man who has what is thought to be the world's largest penis.
Actually, they just reused that caption from the last time they had Piers Morgan on.
Because they couldn't broadcast Jonah's penis, Philip Schofield had a handy cardboard model showing just how mammoth it was.
So this is the sort of thing that we're talking about.
Of course, on the back of that, he's written the names of some suspected massive penises he found on the internet.
Without using a ruler, I go from here to the crook of my elbow.
Shortly after that, Schofield booked him as one of the rounds on the Cube. Alternative TV network and former Big Brother bulletin board Channel 4 turned 30 this year, but that didn't stop it experimenting with drugs.
Drugs Live, the ecstasy trial, includes scenes of drug taking.
You don't say.
The informative Drugs Live was the sort of show Channel 4 used to make when it started 30 years ago, but unfortunately this was made in 2012, sometime after the extensive ecstasy-taking experiment the British public's been getting on with for the past 25 years.
Its big draw was a man on drugs live in the studio. Anything could happen. Would his skull burst? Would he start speaking in tongues? Would he say, I'm fine, yeah, I'm feeling good?
He's fine, aren't you?
I'm fine, yeah, I'm feeling good.
Still, this is the first time they've ever let someone on drugs live on Channel 4, apart from maybe every single episode of The Word.
Sticking with law-breaking, Gordon Behind Bars was another new Channel 4 format disguised as an old Alan Partridge format. The idea was to rehabilitate a group of criminal offenders by sticking them in a boiling hot room with an angry Scotsman and a range of sharp objects.
What could possibly go wrong?
The show itself provided a thoughtful look at just what happens when the men's society has failed shout at each other in a kitchen.
Most TV presenters would shit their own hips out being surrounded by potentially violent criminals, but not Gordon. No, he knows all about violence. Why, only the other day in his kitchen, an egg was beaten and a fish got battered. Also, 5 waiters were murdered. Sticking with crime, in another snazzy Channel 4 format, Gok Wan attempted to smuggle 15 kilos of Class A shit onto primetime television in the baffling dating show Luggage. I mean baggage. After an opening dance so horrid your mind won't let you recall it after seeing this footage, the idea behind Luggage, I mean baggage, became clear. A human being with genitals has to choose a potential mate from 3 other human beings with genitals. Except rather than basing their decision on an assessment of their positive traits, they instead decided who to discard on the basis of their negative traits, or emotional luggage. Baggage. Emotional luggage. Baggage! Fortunately, the luggage, by which I mean baggage, in question was fairly innocuous. Although, of course, in future they'll have to tearfully confess to wannabe partners that they once, many years ago and in a moment of madness, appeared on Luggage. Baggage!
Hello and welcome live to Hotel GB.
Finally, all of Channel 4's format experimentation came to a head in the bold Hotel GB, which was a bit like every reality show ever made, only somehow less so. It featured all the recently tried and tested format stars. Dr. Christian from Drugs Live,
Gordon Ramsay from cooking in prison, and Gok Wan from baggage.
Alongside that lot were Kirsty off Kirsty and Thingy as the concierge for no reason, and Thingy off Kirsty and Thingy playing the maitre d' for no reason.
I'm very conscious that it's Gordon's name above the door in the restaurant, and if it's rubbish, then it's his name that will be affected, rather than mine.
What is your name?
Their task was to teach impressionable unemployed youths how to run a hotel pointlessly and on television for ages while providing as little entertainment as possible.
Would they pull it off? Yes.
Hotel GB can be the biggest shithole in London if we don't get this right.
Come on, don't be negative. Could be the biggest shithole in the world.
Jimmy Cartwright was on this satire thing for Guardian readers who think they're better than everyone else. So he did this thing where he dressed up all sexy, like really sexy, and said Barclays didn't pay enough tax.
Why don't you apply for the Barclays 1% tax scam?
But then this year, it turned out that he hadn't paid much tax, which is the most satirical thing ever.
He apologised, right, but there was a period before he did when literally no one knew what to think about it until David Cameron turned up on the news to say it was wrong.
That is not fair. That is not right.
What was really sad was you could tell from the coverage that Cameron was obviously really annoyed with all the offshore tax loophole stuff, but there's nothing he can do about it. He's literally powerless to stop it.
2012 was Her Royal Queenliness II's Diamond Jubilee, which meant the first half of the year was set aside for ruddy-cheeked forelock tugging. For years, we the people had used Her Majesty as a kind of industrial digger for planting trees, and now it was time to say thank you by standing around waving flags like delighted peasants.
As Sky News made clear, the Jubilee weekend itself was an event you'd want to tune in and remember forever.
For one bank holiday weekend, the whole country will come together.
We'll be all over London, bringing you the very best coverage, whatever the weather.
Oh, whatever the weather. Wonder what the weather will be like. Well, fortunately, the BBC has some of the finest weathermen in the world, and Prince Charles.
Well, it's an unsettled picture as we head towards the end of the week. This afternoon it'll be cold, wet and windy.
Oh, right. Well, I'm sure it won't ruin the celebrations.
Those celebrations promised to be an uplifting spectacle, starting with a glorious river pageant, which we were told would resemble an oldie-worldy painting with all boats and stuff in it. And in the event, as we'd been promised, what we witnessed really was like something from the history books.
Specifically, the Great Flood.
Yes, because as this armada sailed down the river, the coverage showed the Thames got so excited it jumped into the sky and then fell down again all over everyone.
Still, if you squinted between the raindrops, you could see it was wonderfully varied. There were boats, more boats, boat there with a massive bell on it, another boat with a massive bell on it. Basically, lots of boats.
It was hammering down so hard it was often difficult to see what was happening, but despite everything looking like a grim emergency evacuation, the media tried putting a brave face on things.
My teeth are chattering a little bit, my hands are cold, my feet are cold. It is spitting a little bit, Eamon, but you know what? Everybody's getting in the party mood.
Whatever the weather, AK.
This year, one of mankind's worst fears was realised as a formidable new viral threat emerged in Asia.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
This harrowing footage depicts the first recorded victim, a South Korean entertainer known only as Psy, as he succumbed to the contagion's trademark spasms. Victims of Gangnam Style exhibited several distinctive convulsions: crossed wrists, upper arm seizures, a compulsion to trot like a horse, and a dramatic series of side-to-side leg contractions which left the victim looking like a confused drunk desperately trying to shake a turd down their trouser leg. Soon Gangnam Style was spreading across the region at a bewildering pace as chilling recordings of the agonised contortions of its victims made devastatingly clear. It swept through the Thai Navy and infected thousands of prisoners in the Philippines.
Like your mum has.
But the outbreak was largely contained until patient Zero was inexplicably allowed out of quarantine to infect regions worldwide.
It's the name that is on everyone's lips.
Lord McAlpine?
It's Psy!
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, as this effervescent X Factor moment firmly demonstrated, few were immune to the condition, not even former Spice Girls. In upsetting scenes broadcast live on US TV, Britney Spears also succumbed while Simon Cowell looked on, powerless to do anything but laugh. Madonna also fell prey, offering inspiring proof that even 97-year-olds can do the Gangnam Style. Sky News caught the chilling moment the condition reached the UN and Ban Ki-moon himself succumbed, hailing Gangnam Style as a potential harbinger of world peace, saying, "In this era of instability and intolerance, we need to promote better understanding through the power of music." Although shortly after he said that, it turned out Psy hadn't always been peace-minded, and the news could scarcely hide its disappointment.
It has now come out that in his younger days, Psy engaged in some vitriolic anti-Americanism.
Psy performed at a protest concert, singing along to another band song called Dear American, including these lyrics: "Kill those bleeping Yankees who've been torturing Iraqi captives. Kill their daughters, mothers, daughters-in-law, and fathers."
Still, look on the bright side, he'll presumably kill them Gangnam Style!
In July, if you glanced at ITV's schedule, you could be forgiven for shouting, "Jesus Christ!" because he was on. He was. In what can only be proof of a burgeoning God complex, Andrew Lloyd Webber and ITV teamed up to find a whole new son of God in the amazing superstar.
Who will have what it takes to play the most iconic role of all time?
I know I could be Jesus. It just feels right. It turns out lots of men reckon they might be Jesus, either because they think they look like him, although of course, as we all know, Jesus actually looks like this, or because they sound like him, especially when they deliver traditional Christian raps.
Here we are today, auditioning for Jesus. I am gonna win, so you best all believe this.
I don't believe this. But before they could don the crown of thorns, they had to go on trial, just like Christ, except with Melanie C and Jason Donovan, instead of Pontius Pilate and a load of Romans with spears.
I mean, it's like you're on a building site, really.
Right.
Jesus wouldn't be doing this on stage and, you know, and sort of, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because pockets weren't invented back then. After having their spiritual mettle tested with, I shit you not, a Last Supper,
This is your last supper.
See, they were also tested on their ability to come to earth on a Yamaha, do a skid, kill a kid and knacker their balls on a dustbin lid, before turning up in the Cavernous Live studio to perform some traditional hymns, like this.
Yeah! Dirty Diana! No! Dirty Diana! No! Dirty Diana! No! Dirty Diana! Let me be!
Wow, I'd say he nailed it, but I suppose it's best not to mention nails to Christ.
Time for a break, but don't go anywhere because we need your help to find our Jesus. We'll see you soon.
Smells and Chanel No. 5 unveil a stunning ad in which Brad Pitt turns shit dialogue into brown dust.
It's not a journey. Every journey ends, but we go on. The world turns and we turn with it.
Turn on this.
Plans disappear.
Like scripts should.
Dreams take over.
Like another actor should.
But wherever I go, there you are. My luck, my fate, my fortune.
He's deep for a prick.